Okay, good evening, everybody. Good evening and welcome to our call for tonight. And if you are watching via YouTube, I can see your questions. So if you have questions as we go along, please feel free to write them in. This is the Xtreme Business Makeover workshop for our central PA meetup. And if you have questions as we go along, just feel free to write them there in the box. And if you are visiting from the PLR Show, welcome. And this is one of the workshops that we do for our local area. So let's get started. A little bit about me. My business is I create training for online marketers through the PLR Show brand. I've been doing that since 2013. I am formally trained in instructional technology and business, and the same training that I do for my customers through the PLR Academy, I'm also going to be doing now through Gain Mindshare and Harper Academy. Okay, that's just a little bit about me. And we're going to be talking about tonight how you can add an online store to your existing brand or business. And if you were listening to this, let's say that you're listening by audio, you won't have to see this. I'm going to be talking you through the process and you will be able to follow along. I do suggest that you take some notes, and then if you have questions, to come back and ask me in the Central PA meetup, and I'm happy to answer them there. One of the first things you're going to have to do when you are going to be adding on the online store, you're going to have to determine what you're going to deliver and how you're going to deliver it. And you need to figure out what you're going to be selling to people through your online store. And that's pretty much going to be fairly easy to do. You know, are you going to sell a physical product? Because that's going to take a whole set of, I'd say, processes to put in place. In most cases, you're probably going to sell a digital product, or you're going to sell some kind of service, which again, I mean, that's going to be easy for you to deliver online in terms of a service. And again, I'm going to be going through pretty much a 5-step process you're going to be able to put in place in order to start selling through an online store, and it's easier than you think. Are you going to sell live coaching or some kind of advice? In other words, where you are just basically teaching someone, maybe via a webinar or StreamYard or some way in that case. The easiest thing you're going to do is to set up to sell a digital product or service, even if you already sell physical products. So again, we're talking about adding this online piece to something you're already doing. And the process is going to work regardless of what you're selling, as long as you keep things simple. And that's really what I'm doing here in this session is giving you a way to keep this entire process simple so that you won't be overwhelmed by the idea of creating an online store. I'm going to demystify and deconstruct the whole process for you. And we're going to talk about 5 elements that you're going to need in order to sell, in an online store setting. Right. So we're not going to talk about build out an entire store and, having a special software program. I'm going to tell you what you're going to need. In some cases, you may already have it if you're running an online part of your business. Let's talk about the resources. Let's say you have a website. I'm going to assume you have a website or blog and you've already in business. If you don't, you are going to need that. That's not necessarily going to be your store. You can typically get a blog through WordPress.com, or you can do it through Blogger.com. That really doesn't matter. As long as you have a site that is your web presence. You need to have a way to create what I call sales message pages. Some people call them sales pages. And these are just going to be pages where the only thing that you're going to be doing on that page is selling a product. So this is going to be almost like a blank page with the exception of some sales messaging, maybe a video and a buy button. And you need to be able to create those. There are sites and there are programs that allow you to do that fairly simple. You need a way to deliver downloads to your customer. You can use Dropbox. You can use Google Drive. You can use any number of hosting services in order to deliver a downloadable product. If you're going to be doing some kind of membership, you're going to need that also. But we're going to kind of focus in on just keeping it simple here and just saying you're going to deliver a download to your customer. You need a way to book appointments online if you're going to be coaching. So in other words, when the customer buys something, you want them to go ahead and book their, however many appointments that your coaching sells to them. You do need a support desk. And this is really made simple by sites like Zendesk or Freshdesk. They're typically going to be about $10 a month. You do need to have this because you want to have a record of everything that someone sends to you if they have a problem. You don't want to do that on email. And so if that's what you're already doing, you're selling online, maybe you're selling, something in kind of in concert with your business. You don't do support. If you don't do anything else, go get a support desk. Just go to Zendesk or Freshdesk. They're fairly easy to use. And again, they're fairly cheap. You need a way to receive email reliably. And this is really goes to Zendesk. One of the things about just relying on your email address or your Gmail address is they're not designed for that. And sometimes emails get lost. Sometimes emails go to your spam. And you could be in a situation where a customer is not too happy with you by the time you get back to them because maybe the email went to your spam. It does happen with Gmail. It does happen with Hotmail. Please do not rely on any of these. If you do know how to set up your email, there's still the possibility those emails go to spam. So I'm going to suggest that you get some kind of support desk system. You need a way to send up follow-up emails. And this is what in our world, in the online marketing world, we call an autoresponder. You might know it as constant contact or maybe get response or something like that. You do need to have a service that's like that. Doesn't have to be fancy. I think MailChimp is free for the first 2,000 subscribers. You can start with MailChimp, and that's fairly simple to use. You do need a way to send transactional emails. You need to keep those separate from your follow-up emails. Those need to be the kind of emails that, tell the customer what they bought, how much they paid, where they can get in touch with support, and they need to just come automatically. You want to keep those separate from your follow-up emails that you're keeping in contact with in order to sell more, right? So those are the resources you're going to need. Let's talk about setting up your store. When you set up the store, you're giving people, basically you're giving some people something that looks good, where they can see everything you've got for purchase. And that's the basis of a store. A store doesn't have to be fancy. You don't need fancy software. You need one place where a customer can come there and they can see just about everything that you have. And it can be one page, while you're building your list of products. You're going to want to link from your website to this particular page. Then on this page, what you're going to have, and the reason why this system is simple, is you're just going to put some graphic icons representative of each product. So whatever you were selling, you're going to make a graphic representation of that product. It's almost going to be like a flyer, just a little icon, a little square, just like something that you'd put up on Instagram, that you'd place in a square that will just tell people, basically you have a graphic on there. It'll be the title of your product. And to produce these icons, you can use a free program like Canva to produce them. So if you know how to use Canva, and if you don't know how to use Canva, it's very easy to use and they have a free program. You can produce these applications fairly quickly, and you're going to have something that looks nice for your site. And basically what you want to do is you want to make it so that the individual clicks on that icon and it takes them to the individual product page. We're going to get to that here in a minute. So that's the system. So your page is going to have lots of little icons. Those icons are going to lead then to your sales message pages. So the customer clicks on that icon and it goes to the individual product page. Now, what you need to do for this portion, right? Whatever we consider to be your store, all your store is going to be is one page. It's going to allow you to easily lay out each of the icons so that they're even and attractive. So you can basically go to Canva and you can produce uniform icons. That's not going to be a problem. So they're all going to be the same size. You can do all the same font. You can make them all consistent with your brand. You can use existing templates, and Canva's free. You can download them and you can put them on your site. And basically each of these are going to lead to, your individual product. All you've got to do is make sure they're laid out evenly and attractively so the customer, when they come to your page, they don't feel uncomfortable. So you just want to make sure they're even and attractive. Now, your store page could be created using any system that you're comfortable using. So don't go overboard with this. There are page building systems in WordPress, if you're comfortable with that, with Wix, if you're comfortable with that, Squarespace, all those kinds of sites. You can create these kinds of pages where you're just going to lay them out and put those icons there so that they're even and attractive. There are online course store building systems where you've got something like Shopify that might be a little much for this, but you can use it. There are sites like Teachable where you can do this, and Thinkific where you can do all of these things. Now, the system that you use, the most important thing is you're comfortable with it. So even if you're going to pay a little bit for it, it doesn't have to always be free. what's most important is that you are comfortable using it so that you do it. If you have something you're comfortable with, you're going to use it, you're probably going to sell more because you're going to put up more products. Now, and that's really what's going to be most important. You got to be adding products to this on a regular basis. Now, again, please don't be overwhelmed with the store aspect. Once again, understand all you're doing is building a page. You're putting icons representing each of your products on that page. Now, you need a page that's going to represent your sales message for your individual product. So the buyer clicks on that icon from your store page, they're going to be sent to a sales messaging page. Again, in the online marketing world, we call this a sales page. You should have a very simple sales message which tells people how they benefit from having your product. Now, I'm not going to get into how to write copy. I'm not going to get into how to write sales videos or sales message videos. That could be an entire session in and of itself. That could be entire 5 sessions in and of itself. So basically, you're going to need to have some kind of sales message. And I suggest you put that message in video. Just record a sales video rather than write it out and trying to lay it out on the page. And all you're going to have on that page is going to be your video, and you're going to have a buy button on there. Now, if you don't want to record the video on camera, you can just do exactly what I'm doing right here, and you can record a PowerPoint style video. That's an easy way to do it. And the only other thing you're going to have on that page, again, we're trying to keep this simple. On this sales message page is you're going to have a buy button that links to your shopping cart system. That's all it's going to be. So when the customer clicks on that button, they say, I like your sales message. I want to go buy it. They get sent then to your shopping cart. So let's go there. That's what you're going to have next. You're going to have a shopping cart system. And basically the shopping cart system is your payment system. You're gonna purchase access to some kind of shopping cart system. I'm not here to advocate one over the other. I've got some resources where you can get one that's fairly easy to use. There are lots of ways to be able to do it. You just need to make it so that it connects to your merchant processing where you take payment. So if you've got something like PayPal, you've got something like Stripe, you've got a merchant account, you want to be able to connect to those things through your shopping cart system. So your shopping cart system controls how your customer interacts with PayPal, controls how your customer interacts with Stripe, controls how your customer interacts with your merchant account or Apple Pay or whatever you want to use. And you're going to configure your shopping cart so that any successful purchase is going to help you to do a couple of things. These are important now. You want to make sure that that when your customer makes a purchase, that they're successful, that your shopping cart collects the contact information, right? So they put your customer's name and email address into your autoresponder system. It collects the payment, obviously. It delivers your customer a page. It sends them to a page where they can access either information about the product they bought or the product itself if they're downloading it. Your shopping cart system should send a transactional email that we talked about. And once you have all these things lined up, it's really going to be on you to go through a test purchase. You want to walk through the exact process that your customer is going to experience. That's probably more than anything else when you're setting this up, that you actually put yourself in the place of a customer and that you walk through this process. So let's talk about the delivery or the thank you page. That delivery page contains the details about your product or your service. And if the customer has to download or log in, that page is going to have those details about that process. Now, most cases, you're going to want to record some kind of video when you're on this delivery page. And if you're doing some kind of appointment service, you can use a service like Calendly. I think there's one called Once Hub, where your customer comes to that page and they then book their own appointment after they make the purchase. And again, now, see, once you do this entire process, this process that I have really laid out for you, you're just going to repeat the process for each product that you do. You're going to create a sales message page. You're going to point it to a purchase. They make the purchase. They're going to be sent to your shopping cart, or they're going to be sent to your delivery page. A delivery page is going to have all the information. You can do this as many times as you have products to create, and you continue to add those graphic representations to your site. And the way you do this, really, you want to work backwards, right? So you start really with the delivery page. You really work backwards through the process. Now, I know that for the sake of logic, I taught you going forward, but really the way you work through this, you'd start with the delivery page of the product you're going to be selling, right? Assuming that you created it, you're basically going to work backwards by creating a delivery page first and work backwards through this entire process that we have just laid out here. Now, last thing you're going to want to think about, you need to have some kind of email follow-up. This is important if you want people to buy from you a second or third time. And when the person makes that purchase, you should be following up with an email, right? That email should be part of a system. Once again, this is called an autoresponder in the online marketing world. You can typically, you're typically going to make sure that at the stage of the purchase, you're collecting their contact information, and you want to actually try to get it also after the purchase, right? Now, there are certain ways to do that. We're not going to go into all of them here, but you can actually make sure that when they get to the thank you page, just in case something happened, you didn't get their email, you want to do something to encourage them to give you their email address. Sometimes you're going to promise them some kind of bonus, some kind of premium. You're going to give it to them if they give you their best email, and that's where you want to help them in order to do that. Now, you're going to need to have some kind of email service provider company. As I said, there are companies like Aweber, there are companies like Constant Contact. You're going to use this system to contact your customers when you have a new product or service. Really, you really want to try to keep in contact with them on a daily basis, if possible. And again, that's something that happens more in the online marketing world, but you can still do it in your business. I mean, that's something that will probably separate you from a lot of other people if you can have personal messaging on a regular basis. Okay, then once again, I can see your questions on YouTube if you have them. So are there any questions? Any questions? I typically try to get you out of here in 30 minutes or less. And of course, what I've done is I've really walked you through this process. And if you can do those 5 things, you don't have to go through I'd say the headspace of trying to build out a huge online store and be intimidated by that. All right, any questions? Okay, so if you need help with anything, you can get help with us. We'll help you with this process. If you go to our Harper Academy page, harperacademy.com/coaching, right in there what you want to accomplish. And then, if you send us your list of goals or what you want to accomplish, we'll tell you whether or not we can help you or not. If we feel like we can help you, then we will send you a link to pay. Right, that's pretty much how our coaching works. You can find out more about our coaching program at harperacademy.com/coaching. Now, our coaching does include on-demand access to Harper Academy, and Harper Academy is over 100 of our on-demand over-the-shoulder tutorial video courses that we have created for our PLR Show customers. It shows you the technical side of marketing and strategy. And, we grow that library on a regular basis. We also do weekly training. We've done 13 so far on building an online brand from scratch. This is also available to you on demand, and you also get access to one Q&A call on a monthly basis that is private in nature. And any of our training that we do in the future, you will get discounted access to it when you are part of our coaching program. And basically, just imagine going to YouTube and then being able to get the person who created the video to help you personally. That's pretty much what Harper Academy is. And we will give you access to it when you become one of our coaching clients. Okay, once again, you can get access to our coaching program at harperacademy.com/coaching. And now, if you just want to kind of follow along and have us help you in your online business or build your brand, you can follow on at harperacademy.com. And if you are an advanced internet marketer, and this is a little elementary for you, I would suggest you follow us at the plrshow.com. This is for our private label rights video customers. And we will be helping you to not only use private label rights video, but also to build your business online. Again, this is pretty much for advanced internet marketers. Maybe even if you sell to other internet marketers, network marketers, or something like that, this is a good place for you. And we are a little more hands-on with you in this case. Okay, so any other questions? Any questions? Okay, well, I certainly appreciate you hanging out with me here tonight, and I will be back with you in next Monday at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time inside of our meetup. Once again, if you want to follow our activity on YouTube, you want to get access to all of our live training, you can do that at youtube.com/Charles Terrence Harper, and then live. You will then have access to see when our next training is. I think we're going to be doing a training tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So with that, thank you very much, everybody. Have a great night and a pleasant tomorrow. Take care.